Abby Kendall's life in fishing. So with everybody, we've started where it all began. Where did you used to go? Who used to take you?
I used to go with, my dad used to take me as a youngster. We used to go to the little village lake, catching little rudd and roach, just to begin with. And then he used to be a carp angler more so around that time. He's always switched between match fishing, well, not really match fishing, but
It's like pleasure fishing.
Yeah.
Was that because
carp.
of you fishing, or was that just off his own back?
no,
That's
just
what he
he's
used to
just
do?
always used to flip between the two. But yeah, he used to take me carp fishing, so that's what I did mostly when I was younger. I used to go and he used to set me up a little pole down the edge while he was carp fishing. I'd catch little rudd, roach, perch, put them in the stock ponds wherever we were and things like that. So that started, and used to love going with him for weekends. And one weekend we went, and I used to be, I can remember I used to be the first one up when the alarms went off, like waking Dad up, like it's going, and I used to get really excited. So it was good. So I suppose that's what got me into fishing first, that little, the buzz of you don't know what's
Do
gonna...
you still do a bit of carp fishing as well, or?
Every now and then I'll go. Obviously I've got Rio now, so it's a bit harder to get out for the weekends, but I do try. I've been with my brother a couple of times, or we'll go. My dad used to have like a caravan, so we used to go somewhere and we used to go camp it, and then carp fish through the night. But it's nice to sit back and relax sometimes, rather just go in and just chill in, rather than that's one thing I hate about fishing, setting up and packing away and doing all the preparation all the time. It does my head in. So it's just nice to go and just chill out sometimes.
It's what you do. Obviously, you came from the carp side.
Yeah.
But if you go and want a day to just get a bit of a fix, you'll go carp fishing.
Yeah, but it's weird going now. It's like suddenly everything, like waiting that long for bites and just not doing anything. Because 99% of the time, once you've got your rods out, you're as well off leaving them in position, unless you go in to like change peg or something like that. But yeah, it's just weird getting back into that mentality of sitting there and waiting, where you just want to be doing something, trying something else. But obviously lower stock venues, you're almost as well off sitting on your hands and letting it happen.
That does my head in a little bit about it, because I'm quite an aggressive angler, like feeding a lot. So if it's on my...
Start stabbing people.
If it's on the side tray, it's going in. So I have to kind of like get back into the swing of things when it comes to carp fishing, and not to do anything.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to go every now and then back to your roots, I suppose.
So when did match fishing or course fishing, when did you say fish your first match? Or
My mum and dad split up, and my mum got with my stepdad, which is Rob Lincoln. And I remember fishing, he took me a couple of times, kind of like when he first met my mum. I think it was a kind of a way in to get me to like him, because I hated him to begin with. But I love him now, do you know what I mean? But he used to take me down Factory Bank, because me and my mum lived in the flats on Factory Bank. So
on the knee.
Yeah, so he used to take me down there. And then I remember, and then my brother got into carp fishing, so he was match fishing, so he was taking him match fishing quite a lot. And I remember my brother fishing a Browning Youth Masters. I don't think they do that anymore.
No, they don't anymore, but
and I remember they used to have like at least 15, weren't it, for a qualifier or something like that. And my stepdad brought me this little wooden box once, just brought it home. He's a sales rep for fishing gear, so he used to bring all sorts home for me. And he was like, they're low in numbers, they need one more person. If you do you fancy doing it? And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And I won the match, and I was like, oh, okay. So my brother was so annoyed, because he went to qualify, and obviously I won the match and beat him, so he weren't very happy with me.
Was that like the first match you fished as
well? First
ever
ever match, So I was like, oh, okay. And then I fished that, and then I fished the Browning Youth Masters final and come fifth in it. So I done really well there, because I think then it was like 65, 70 anglers, juniors in it, I think. I think James Dent was second that year. But yeah, I come fifth in it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Where was that held? Where was the final that year?
That was Cudmore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I can't remember what weight I had or anything like that, or where I drew. I can't remember. It was like so long ago now. But yeah, and then I kind of just stopped after that. I didn't go anymore. Just didn't go anymore. Wasn't really interested. I had horses. I've always had horses, so that was always been my first love. And the dedication you have to have with horses is ridiculous as well. I just believe you can't do two things properly. You have to either do one or the other. You have to make that choice. So horses were always my first choice.
Yeah.
I used to compete on them and event and things like that. So, but yeah, and then I just stopped match fishing really. And then it was until, how old was I? About 15. My stepdad had been around shops and he said, someone needs someone to fish for him in Suffolk County team. Do you fancy doing it? It's on the Grand Union Canal. And I was like, I don't know, I might do.
How much of a gap was this between?
There was probably 4 years. I'd been out, pleasure fishing, but probably not fished a match since then. So he was like, yeah, come on, we'll go practicing and stuff. And I started going practicing on Whittlesea Dyke because it's like catching little skimmers and things like that. So I was like, oh yeah, I quite enjoy it. Then I went and fished the junior national on Milton Keynes and I won it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I've won another match. And the team,
about the second match.
yeah. And then the team I think the team won it as well. There's three girls in it, and then one lad, Jack, captained the team. So we put in a good performance. And then I think 6 months later, they used to have the national and then the challenge, 6 months.
There was always two, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was always the main national, then a bit of I don't know whether it was regionalised or...
I can't remember how it worked, but it was still quite, and I went there. Where was that? I can't remember where that one was, but I won that one as well. And I was like...
3 and 3.
Oh, okay. maybe I should start taking this up. Maybe I'm all right. And at that time, I'd given up my horses and stuff, so it was something that I could maybe concentrate on a bit more. So I started fishing the winter leagues and I was shocking. Everyone loved it when I was in their section because they'd definitely get a point off of me. Do you know what I mean? Last in my section all the time. But that's how you start, don't you? So I didn't go from that to clubs. I went straight into to winter league. So I give myself a bit of a challenge, to be honest. But I always believe to be the best, you've got to beat the best. So that's how it's carried on from there, really.
Brilliant. So you got thrown in at the deep end a little bit.
Yeah.
And sort of carried on from there.
Yeah, and thanks to my stepdad, because I know he used to get really annoyed with me because we all go through that stage. You're a teenager, you got your mates, you want to be going out and stuff. And I remember I fished one match and I was next to Tim Nash, bless him, and it was a shocking day on this venue, and I was on my phone texting all day and he beat me by £1. And my stepdad, I remember just Rob going mad at me because he was like, if you weren't texting, you could have beat Tim Nash. And I was like, he was like, I don't spend all this money on you to go fishing and text. And that was a bit of a telling off. I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
so back then I didn't have you don't realise how much fishing costs.
No, exactly. Especially if somebody,
he's paying for you to do it.
Took you under his wing and he's paying for you to do it.
Yeah, so that was a bit of I did get a bit of a telling off after that match.
that was one of the key things, obviously being a lady angler. I'm guessing a lot of your friends, you said there that you had horses, and to be fair, you took time out to go down the horse side of things rather than fishing. I'm guessing a lot of your friends were out doing other things, and still are to this day when you're getting up early going fishing. And
I remember a few that you get to that the house parties and things like that. I'd be like, can I go to my mum and dad, to my mum and stepdad, and he'd be like, yeah, but I'm picking you up at 11 o'clock because you've got to be up early because you're fishing. And I'm like, really? 11 o'clock would come, all night you're watching your clock, 11 o'clock would come, and you're like, I just wish I could just be out with all of them. Do you know what I mean? And now, we're all getting older now, so it's not out every weekend, but it is sometimes you think, I can't, I've got to go fishing, or I've got too much prep to do, I can't do that, so it does take over your life. It's not just a weekend thing. I don't think people realise out of fishing. I think people that you talk to that don't go fishing just think you go and sit by a riverbank all day with a stick and catch a fish, but it's not like that, is it? No. When you're match fishing.
So do your friends understand it? Your friends when you were in school, did they get what you were doing?
I always used to get the Mickey taken out of me a little bit, but I've always had that through fishing because obviously I am a lady that fishes, so I always normally the first one that gets a bit of stick. But I think only until I've just started my nursing degree, so I started uni, and I tell my mates about it at uni, they're like, fishing? Like, why do you want to go fishing? And then when I was in Fisho, I just remember one of my friends ringing me going, oh my God, you're making this out. Because I was just like, oh, I've just got a match on Saturday, but I am going to be on Sky Sports and stuff. And then she Googled me, and she was like, you're just making this out to be like just going fishing. Like, you're quite famous in the fishing world, aren't you? I was like, well, I wouldn't say I'm famous. I said, but it's quite a big thing, yeah.
It's weird though, isn't it? With Fisho, just because it's on Sky Sports, suddenly everyone takes notice of it, don't they? It's like, you could be in any other match, like Maver, Gold, where it's the same sort of money, even more money, but because it's on like normal TV, suddenly everyone's like, oh,
well,
it's an actual sport.
And it's that moment in it, that's where they go, oh, like it's not just a stick
Yeah.
and a riverbank, and
Yeah,
you're
there's
sat
a lot
on your
more
own
to
and
it.
you're just having a jolly.
And I
sort of thing.
had some of my family come and watch me, and they never sat and watched a match before.
Yeah.
This is at Fisho, and they were like, we can't believe like how much like
It's
there
not
is
what
to
they've
it. It's
pictured,
not just sitting on a box or a
Yeah.
chair on your deck chair fishing for the day. There's so much more to it. So it's nice when people actually realise, because you do put so much effort in, and when you do talk, I suppose we all know, like talking to someone, it's just you don't bother anymore. It's
No,
like, yeah, go fishing. That's it.
And you kind of end it there, don't
Yeah.
you? Because people are naive to it, and they don't really want to know.
Surely it's all luck you get, and
exactly.
I think it's the same with even like talking to people who don't go match fishing that do other sorts of fishing, and it's probably the same as like a fly angler trying to explain to us like what the little intricacies and stuff they're doing are. You just like, until you're actually doing it and you're around it, you like get a rough idea, but you're never going to properly understand
No.
it. I think that's
No.
where it is, isn't it?
yeah.
So you mentioned your stepdad Rob. So
Yeah.
he's obviously helped you a lot along the way.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
there anyone else sort of that you can think of that
Well,
sort of really helped you?
I've got to give a good mention to my other half, Rob Wright, as well. Before I met him, I was just going on winter leagues, being last in the section, pool fodder. Like I knew I was rubbish, and to be honest, I lost interest a little bit because I think I'm fishing against these people that have fished these drains for 30 years, or some of them all their lives. Do you know what I mean? And likes of Tim Nash, Steve Welford, Anthony Watlin. They're so
Like
good at
legends
it.
of the drains. Sort of
And
thing.
you just think, I'm never going to beat them. And Bob Nard, never going to beat them. It's never going to happen. And then I got with Rob, and we were just out all the time fishing. And I was going loads, and it's just little things. Just tidied it up a little bit. Rob's quite quick at fishing. He's very fast. So I suppose you just pick it up, don't you? What you fish against or with and see. I just picked it up, and to be honest, he's the one that really got me to where I was to be able to get into the England team. So he's put a lot of, and his fishing has been affected by it a little bit because he's put a lot more time and effort into me than he has his own fishing.
Yeah.
He says he loves it and he loves seeing me get results and stuff, but it has.
Helps a cheeky holiday to Europe every now and then.
Well,
as well.
yeah, there you go.
So obviously you mentioned that. So obviously Rob's helped you get to that side of things. You've also been with Matt for a number of years now.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
I first, so my stepdad works for Leader, so he was obviously he's sales map stuff and lot. And I remember getting the call up for England for Portugal, which was a bit of a shock, and they just sent me everything I needed, my rods, my reels. They were just brilliant, and it's just gone on from there really. As the years have gone on, they're just amazing to me. They really are good to me. And then I feel like a bit of a pain in the bum sometimes, but they're fun, they're great. So it really helps because things like Fisho, you needed like 6 rods set up, and if you don't have that help from companies, it's a lot of money. It's obviously your rods and your reels, spooling them up, everything that goes with it. It's a lot of money to be laying out.
Whilst you're at uni, as you're doing your degree, you're
on
obviously
on the international side of things as well. I've
Definitely.
had the same when like Denty was doing orders, and it's like some place you're basically fishing a 13-metre pole as a top kit,
Yeah.
effectively, aren't you? And it's like the
Yeah.
amount of elastic you get through and stuff like that. And I think,
especially in the hot countries, the elastic just after 2 days you
Yeah.
need to change it.
Yeah.
It's wrecked. But yeah, that I remember Portugal. They gave me all my rods. You know, world champs, you need 6 rods set up, 20 million top kits, because you've got to be prepared for every eventuality that's going to come across. But they've been amazing. I can't thank them enough really for what they've done for me throughout my fishing. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
it's getting a bit emotional then.
Yeah.
No, I don't get emotional. Not very often.
And obviously, as a lady angler, just moving back to that, have there ever been times when you're fishing where you felt that people have treated you differently on the bank or away from the bank simply because of that fact?
You get the odd one. To be fair, I think because a lot of round my circuit, I've grown up with them all.
Yeah.
They're all like my second dads, as such. They're brilliant. But you do get the odd one. I've got quite thick skin now because of it though, so it's helped me out. I'm quite good at taking it, and I can give it back a bit now. Before I used to hate it. I used to hate walking into the pub at 14, 15, and everyone looking at me, and I felt like everyone was laughing at me a little bit, like, what are you doing here, sort of thing. But on a whole, it's things like, I know this is going to sound really silly, but it's things like going for a wee. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with going behind a bush and squatting and having a wee. But some men have a problem with that, but it's okay for them
I
to
could
just
have left that question in.
have a wee. It's just okay for them to have a wee, and
Yeah.
it's things like that. And they're like, "Oh, you're going to go for a wee?" Well, yeah, I need one just as much as you need one. What's the problem?
Yeah.
I'm not, But it's just things like that, and you get the banter. Oh, you're getting beaten by a girl, or you've been beaten by a girl. But my reply is always, "I've got 2 arms and 2 legs like you." So whatever.
Just sometimes find it kind of works the other way, where people might not give you the credit you deserve, and
Yeah.
don't see you as a threat almost, and you can just be like, right, crack on. bash 'em
Massively. It really annoys me because a lot of matches I have fished, if I do well, it's not because I've done well. It's not because I fish well. There's a reason why I've done well. It's because I've had a £2 perch, or it's because I've done this. It's never like you fished well done, Ab. You fished a good match. It's not that.
Yeah.
People try and find reasons why you've done well, and that's a bit frustrating sometimes. But it's nice to sometimes just give it back to them and keep quiet and just let your fishing do the talking. They soon get annoyed with it, and it does play a bit of an advantage, because if men know they're getting beaten by a girl, their head goes
Yeah, straight away.
straight away. They hate it, and I've had matches, and I'll be sitting there beating people, and I'm just sitting there chuckling because I can see they're starting climbing up new lines and feeding more, feeding less, and
Yeah, it's probably, I think that's the point your head's properly gone as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? As soon as you start trying to chase it, you're 9 times out of 10.
I've seen it happen so many times, especially on the drains where it's fish races,
Yeah.
and you're doing it without sounding thingy. You can be doing it better than that person, but like I said, there's a reason for it.
I suppose that's where you can start switching it round and using it to your advantage, sort of thing. As
I
well,
do,
can't you?
yeah, massively. Or someone else will get involved, going, "Oh, is she giving you a hiding or whatever?" And then that's it. Their head goes even more, and they pack up and they drop and go home. But it's up to them, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, leave them to it.
Have you ever felt at any point that it's a disadvantage being a female going fishing? I mean, you've never been like, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that." It's
Never.
just, no.
Never. I don't see myself, just because I'm a girl, that I can't do any. I think in a lot of other sports, obviously there is advantages and
Yeah.
disadvantages of being a man and a woman, but I just don't see what they are in fishing.
Yeah.
Because
Physically, it's not like...
I mean, you've got your 16-metre pole, but
there's...
that no one wants to fish a 16-metre pole if they don't have to, do they? Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
So but physically, no. The
So-
only maybe thing that, I don't know, no, I don't see anything as a disadvantage.
Other than wee breaks, it's just like...
Well, I've trained my body now. I don't eat or drink anything before the match. Then I'm all right.
Fair enough. And you were quite open in the fact that obviously this year you've just fished the Fishermania final, and the route to get to that was a specific ladies qualifier.
Yeah.
Pretty low attended.
Yeah.
But you were quite open in the fact that you weren't for that, but you were going to take advantage of that because it
Yeah,
was there for
definitely.
you to take advantage of.
I didn't agree with it, purely because, like I just said, I don't think I feel as an angler I can compete with anyone on the match scene. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm going to beat Andy Bennett off the next peg, but on your given days,
You can.
anyone can. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know, I don't see it. I didn't agree with it, but if someone's going to put 25, it was meant to be 50 pegs. It didn't sell out, unfortunately. I think only 27 attended. Someone's going to put a 27 peg match in front of you and say you can fish it for 50 grand. You're going to be stupid not to.
Yeah.
You know, 50 grand's a life-changing amount of money, and if out of principle, if I said I'm not going to do it, then that's just
It's
being
not,
stupid.
yeah, it's not really
Yeah.
unless it was like a countrywide, no one's going to fish it. By you not fishing it, it doesn't prove a point. It just
Gives
gives
someone
it
else
to someone
it.
else
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
exactly. So and I hadn't been fishing for 6 months. I've had a bit of a break from it really, after Rio and stuff, and other commitments and things going on. So it kind of like it's, in a way, I believe everything happens for a reason, and since then I just want to go fishing all the time all of
Yeah.
a sudden, and I think it's been my boost to pick myself up and go.
And
So
then straight off the back of that, you fished the final. Then it was the ladies' national within a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and you went on to win that and qualify for next year's
Yeah,
Fishmania final.
yeah.
And you think, like personally, I think that if they want the Angling Trust want to guarantee a lady to be in the final, I think the ladies' national's the way to do that.
yeah, because I think this year's been the highest attended ladies national in as many years as I've been fishing it. I think there's 56 on it, so there's I think some fish over qualifiers, some of them are like 60 pegs, aren't they, or something like
I think,
that.
Yeah,
A couple maybe.
you're getting low turnouts, especially golden reel and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's as close as a qualifier as it can be. They've got rid of the ladies' final in the fish show, which it has caused uproar in the ladies' scene. And
To be honest, I'm completely for there being no ladies' final. I think the same thing that you're saying there. You feel that you can compete with any man in any match that you fish. I think that there's a lot of ladies in that situation. Everybody's fighting for equality these days.
yeah,
By having
it's
a
got
s-
the
a
world's
lady-
gone mad.
Yeah, and by having a specific ladies' final, doesn't seem right in a way.
No, I mean, I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for saying this because the ladies will probably want me to back them all the way, which I will. But, it was nice, something to fish for at the Ladies National, top 6. If you knew you weren't doing it, at least you've got something to fish for. But is it all about getting into a 6-peg final? Is that what you're going to go fishing for? For me, it's not. I want to win. That's why I go fishing, because I like winning. But, we had ladies going, we're going to boycott the national because of it. But that's just affecting the fishing for ladies in general.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Just because they've got rid of a 6-peg, match in fish show. I know that sounds really horrible, but it's not me being horrible. It's just that, for coverage wise, they don't get I've been in the ladies' final a couple of times. You get no coverage anyway.
I bet compared to the coverage that you got when you're in the ladies' final, compared to what you got being in the main event, it wasn't even comparable.
No,
Your
I think
was
on
massive.
the ladies, you get like a little 30-second glimpse
Yeah.
of the ladies fishing.
Yeah,
It's,
a weigh it in or whatever.
yeah,
it's
it's
just like,
you're just there really. Don't get me wrong. I fished it a couple of times and it was an amazing experience. It's a nice build. It's something to look forward to. But does there need to be one? I don't think so. Because you've got this, but then there's other ladies out there that do go fishing and don't think that they're good enough to beat men. But my argument is, if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best,
think-
and you've got to fish against the anglers.
It's the same for, if you look at the majority of anglers as a whole, no, there's not many who are going to think they can beat Bennett and stuff like
No.
that. There's plenty of shit male anglers at the end of the day.
And this is the argument, you don't see women qualifying for Fishermania, because if you look at the ratio of women anglers to men anglers,
it might be like 1 in 100 or
yeah,
something, if
and that person to draw a half decent peg to give them half a chance.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of men, like you just said, that would admittedly say, I won't ever beat them. But
there's
if they're given half a chance peg,
I bet over the, how many qualifiers are there? Say there's 20 qualifiers. I bet over that, maybe the amount of tickets bought by a female, I bet it's 20.
Yeah.
I bet Kaylee probably. Kaylee fishes
Yeah.
a few, Emma fishes a few.
yeah. See, I don't fish any.
Yeah, and
Don't
the
fish 'em.
majority, if all 56 of those women that fished the ladies' national bought a ticket, one ticket each throughout the year, I bet there'd be a good percentage that come somewhere close
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Throughout. And I look at the ladies' scene at the moment, and I think it looks in a good position.
Yeah.
When you look at the likes of, for example, yourself, Kaylee Smith, Helen Dagnall, Sam Sims, Emma Pickering, Julie Abbott, that are fishing big events, massive events all the time. Whether it is your winter leagues or Division 1 nationals. Emma I think she's qualified for the Feeder Masters final,
Yeah.
or the Southfield feeder event that they run there. And you look at it and it's in a good position. You've got some really, really good lady anglers that are doing well in some really good events.
Yeah.
For there to be a separate Fishermania event for them, it doesn't seem right, because the main event is there for them as well.
If you broke it down numbers-wise, if there's 100 anglers and the ones regularly qualifying in your top 1%, then the top 1% of female anglers, just purely on numbers, isn't going to be many anglers. It's going to be a handful sort of thing. And I think that's what it's coming down to. If you looked at it as percentage-wise, it's probably no different. And if anything, it's like doing those ladies-only final, you're probably taking away people who might have been like, right, we're going to have a go for doing it through normal qualification, as it were.
The incentives there now for the ladies' national, even more so, because I would argue, because you've got that position, you could be in the main event.
Yeah.
Like you said, like your friends, your family were there watching the main event, which maybe they wouldn't have been as much so if it was just the ladies.
No. And I think a lot of it is, I think what a lot of the ladies don't like is when I first started fishing, there used to be like a ladies' festival down at Whiteacres. Like, there's nothing like that around anymore. And they're like, well, what have we got to fish for as ladies? Because I know some of the ladies feel they can't compete with men, which is they're happy to say that. So they want some ladies' matches where they might get a bit of a chance to win something. So, like I've just started up a 2-day for next year, ladies only at Rookery.
Yeah.
And it sold out in 2 days
That
with
was
everyone's deposits paid. 40 anglers
Which is
in
brilliant.
2 days. And I think there needs to be, I felt like everyone was moaning about it and no one was doing anything about it. So I sat down with Rob and I said, I'm probably going to shoot myself for doing this, but something's got to be done. So I phoned Alex at Rookery and said, can you book us a couple of lakes? And I thought 15 to 20 might, but for a sellout in 2 days, I was amazed.
Absolutely
and
brilliant.
more things need to be happening for that. So it's not just aimed at fish show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something to
But I
fish.
suppose it's, to get as big a deal as Fish Show is and everything, it's getting more into match fishing at that grassroots level almost, isn't it? But
I've had a couple of ladies saying, I've never fished a proper match before, can I come? Of course you can. Anyone come. That's the whole point. We want more ladies in fishing.
yeah, you're finding, because I think Ben Townsend, his missus, has just started going off.
Yeah.
I think it was the ladies' national.
Yeah.
She started having a play out, and do you find that there's more coming through that way, where it's like their partner or their dad or whatever?
Yeah, you've seen a couple. Yeah, actually at the national, I was quite shocked to see how many more ladies there was, and there were just the new ones, and old man Watlin's partner, she's just started fishing. Things like that. It's it's good. It's good to see. It's really good to see. But I just think, like you said, everyone wants a bit of everything, and everyone wants equal everything, and the world's just going mad now. And where do you stop? Do you know what I mean?
So you live in the Fens, but you're linked heavily, obviously, with the Fishermania final because you fish that. But would you class yourself more as a natural venue angler or a commercial venue angler?
I would say more natural. I do a lot of haven't fished it for the last couple of years, but mainly fish the winter leagues and try and get on more natural venues, but in the closed season, I go commercial. It's just something to do, something different. I get a bit bored of it, to be honest, by the end of it. I couldn't do commercial fishing week in, week out. I can see the advantage of it, like just turning up, parking behind your peg in a lot of places, but I just couldn't. It's not for me, catching big weights all the time and things like that. I'd rather go and struggle on a river. Do you know what I mean? It feels a bit more rewarding. Not saying that commercial fishing isn't, but when you go and have £5 on a really hard river, you feel like you've done well. Do you know what I mean?
It's more that it's not the same methods all the time as well, that you do have to vary
it's different.
It up a bit.
Yeah, so I'd say more natural, but I enjoy both.
Yeah.
I like both.
And I've seen over the last couple of years, you've gone, and I don't know whether it's pleasure fishing, you've done it, and you've caught some massive bags of tench and big roach down on the fence.
Rudd,
them rudd are ridiculous down there.
Is that something you just enjoy doing? Is that?
Yeah, I will every now and then. Like me and Rob, we set each other little challenges like throughout the year. I've always been quite lucky, so I suppose that's my thing. But like we'd say, like one summer, right, this summer we're going to go and catch barbel for the summer on the Trent and things like that. And I remember going and first chuck I had a barbel. Like he was like, "You're unbelievable." It does its head in because it happens. And then one year, my aim was I wanted to catch a double figure bream, and I went to Walthamstow. First chuck again, I caught a £13 bream, and I was like, I can't be this lucky. So it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
But, you know, we set each other little challenges, and it is nice to actually take a step back from match fishing, because I think you forget why you go fishing sometimes. In a match, it's just a unit of weight. Like, you don't look at the fish, you catch it, it's in your net. When you go and catch bags of tench like I have done, and those big £2 rod, that's like, you catch that and you're like, oh my God, this is like a fish of a lifetime.
You actually get a bit of time to stop and look at the fish you've got.
And appreciate why sometimes, like, I always say it, I've said it a few times, when we've been walking around lakes and you see pleasure anglers, I actually get a bit jealous of how excited they get over a £3 carp. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I wish I had that.
And we're just like, net it straight in the net. And
you just don't appreciate it. Even like when you weigh in, it's like, you weigh in and done.
Yeah, it's just numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's just, you always want more. And so it's nice to take a back seat. And I'm lucky being brought up round the fens that I have got places like that where I can, like the middle level, you can go and fish a 10-metre whip and catch roach and massive, I've caught bream on it before, like not meant to obviously, but you know, or tenched just in the edge. It's nice to be able to have them venues to go and do it. So
yeah, there's not many places in the country where you could go and do that varied and that much natural fishing, I suppose.
No, and the drains around here, they're just full of fish.
Yeah.
And they always are all year round. They always obviously migrate to different areas, but you soon learn where they're going to go next. And you know, it's just incredible fishing really around here. Very lucky.
Excellent. And we've touched on the England side of things. So obviously, for years you've been with the England ladies setup. This year you didn't.
No.
You didn't go. What's the situation there? What in terms of, obviously you've been there years. What are your plans for the future with the England side?
I think my last World Champs was in Hungary. I just had Rio. I left Rio. He was 4 months old, and I left him for 2 weeks.
Attended, I'm guessing, not just on his own.
Oh, well, not meant to say that.
Just had a bit of a party.
Just left him lines of bottles of milk. You'll be all right.
That one for Monday.
Yeah. No, I left him with my mum, and you know, it's a big ask. My mum had to have 2 weeks off work. I had to leave Rio. He was still my baby. He was 4 months old. I went to Hungary. I didn't really click with the venue. You don't. In some World Champs, you know, Spain, I couldn't put a foot wrong. I caught loads the year before. I was 12 weeks pregnant with Rio. I didn't tell anyone though, because I didn't want it to be an excuse to be dropped or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So, but in Hungary, I just didn't click with the venue. I had a really, really bad World Champs. And management, I think, just decided that maybe I should have a couple years out with Rio. It was obviously heartbreaking to have that news, but actually looking at things, maybe I did, because I've had a break from it. for a year, probably up until like maybe April this year, I wasn't interested in fishing. That was it. I'm done. I don't want to go fishing anymore. I lost the love for it. I felt like I was just going because I had to, or people expected me to go. And I just think when it gets to that, that's when you've got to just sit back and think, why am I doing this? And so I did. I had a year out, and then I got back on the bank, and I've got my buzz back at it now. I want to go fishing. I want to get back in that England team. You know, I've fished for 6 years, I think, and I'd like that buzz. That, you know, it's your anxiety is like up here leading up to World Champs, but when you're out there, there's just nothing compared to it. Nothing compares to that stage. And you know, a lot of people were saying to me at Fisher, "Are you nervous? Are you nervous?" And I just think, I know it sounds bad, but I was like, no, I was nervous before I drew, because I just wanted to know where I was. But I've fished on the biggest stage of my life, and I appreciate the opportunity that Dave gave me for 6 years. I think it was 6 years, 5 or 6, can't remember now. But I didn't ever get, like, as a team, we didn't win a medal in them years, and I want a medal to show for. Do you know what I mean? And like I've said before, I like winning, and I love the girls are brilliant out there, you know, and it'd just be nice to win something with them. Yeah. So my plans are, I know that Dave's not having any trials, so I won't be getting in next year, but who knows what's going to happen in the next couple. So.
Yeah, so hopefully at some point down the line you'll be back doing that. It's something that you want to do, but just not quite yet, maybe.
Yeah. I think, and then that time Rio will be, you know, I'd have done my degree by then. Rio would be a bit older, so it'll be a bit easier. It's still a big ask for other people to have him, but you know, if I have to leave Rob at home, I have to leave Rob at home.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's something for the future. Obviously, the immediate future, next year you've got the Fishermania final. When will you sort of start looking at having a bit of a practice for that?
I left it late this year as well, because I just think there's no point practicing like May, at the beginning of June, because it changes so much. You know what our weather's like. So I'll probably mid-June, maybe, probably beginning of June, I'll start going up for practice matches. And just having a go. But I think I got a good insight this year to what, because I went up a couple of times. I fished the Open on the Wednesday before the Fisher and drew Andy Bennett's peg, actually, and I was second off of it, so I knew I needed to be in that area. But I just think, beginning of June I'll start and just see what happens. Hopefully I can win it this time.
Yeah, well, all the best for that.
What are you up to this winter as well? Anything booked in? Or?
Well, I've decided that I'm going to give, because I haven't fished the Winter League for a couple of years because of Rio again, so I've decided I'm going to give the Winter League a go again this year. Just I can't commit to every weekend because of work and stuff, but I'm going to make it a good effort to try and get to most of them. So it'd be nice to get back on and see everyone again. You know, a lot of it for me, fishing, is the social. If there was no social side to fishing, I wouldn't go, I don't think, because it's nice, isn't it, getting back?
Definitely.
To the pub and seeing everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Just an excuse to go to the pub.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, we'll leave that section there. All the best for Fishermania final next year, and getting back on the bank.